When you leave, truly leave, silently, without explanation, without drama, it does something profound. It disrupts the fabric of things. Not because of what you say or do, but because of what you no longer say, no longer do. This isn't a vanishing act out of fear or despair. It's not about running away from life. It's about walking towards something higher. Your principles, your peace, your power. When you disappear in this way, you aren't losing yourself. You're finding yourself. But what happens to them? The ones you leave behind. What do they feel when you choose self-mastery over self-destruction? This isn't about revenge or teaching anyone a lesson. It's about living so resolutely by your values that the world is forced to react to your absence. Let us explore the 9 things they feel when you simply disappear. Let us draw from the wisdom of those who mastered the mind centuries ago, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, and uncover what their lessons mean for us today. Number 1, they feel the shock of stillness. The first thing your disappearance creates is a void, silence, absence, and for many that void is unbearable. In a world that thrives on noise, endless chatter, arguments, and distractions, your absence is like a thunderclap in a quiet room. They feel the shock of stillness, the abrupt end to the patterns they've grown accustomed to. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Your silence embodies this truth. By refusing to be part of the noise, you claim mastery over your mind. For them, however, this stillness forces them to confront something they often avoid themselves. In the absence of your voice, they are left alone with their own thoughts. And not everyone can bear the sound of their own unfiltered mind. Number 2, they feel the weight of unspoken lessons. Your disappearance isn't just an act, it's a message. Not spoken, not explained, but deeply understood. It tells them that you won't sacrifice your peace for their chaos, that your self-worth isn't tied to their validation, that your presence is a gift, not an obligation. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." And that's exactly what you've done. Instead of engaging in fruitless debates or trying to prove your value, you've shown it. Your actions carry weight, and that weight lingers long after you're gone. They feel the burden of what they failed to see, failed to appreciate, failed to protect. And in that realization lies their first lesson, a lesson they might never have learned if you had stayed. Number 3, they feel the ache of lost stability. In your presence, you were a rock, steady, reliable, unshaken. They may not have acknowledged it, but they leaned on you. Your strength, your calm, your ability to weather the storms, they drew from it, even as they took it for granted. When you disappear, they feel the ache of lost stability. It's like a house without its foundation. Everything they built on top of you starts to wobble. Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Your departure becomes their trial. Without your stabilizing presence, they must learn to stand on their own, to find balance without leaning on you. And whether they succeed or fail, that is their burden to bear. Number 4, they feel the frustration of an unmoved mind. Nothing frustrates a chaotic person more than someone who refuses to engage in their chaos. When you disappear without anger, without bitterness, without the need for dramatic goodbyes, you rob them of the reaction they crave. Epictetus taught, "If you are ever tempted to look for outside approval, realize that you have compromised your integrity. By leaving, you maintain your integrity. You show that your peace cannot be bought, your emotions cannot be manipulated, and your mind cannot be moved by others." For them, this is maddening. They lash out, they blame, they question, but none of it touches you. You've already left, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, and their frustration is a reflection of their inability to control you, a power they never truly had. Number 5, they feel the fear of their own reflection. Your absence acts as a mirror. When you leave, they are forced to confront themselves, their flaws, their insecurities, their unacknowledged guilt. And for many, this is terrifying. Epictetus reminds us, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. When you walk away, you've already made that decision. You've chosen to be someone who prioritizes their inner peace over external validation. But they're left with questions they may not be ready to answer. Who are they without you? What role did they play in your departure? These questions haunt them, not because of what you've done, but because of what they must now face. Number 6. They feel the hunger for the wisdom they took for granted. In your presence, your words often went unnoticed. Your advice, your insights, your calm guidance, they became part of the background, something they assumed would always be there. But when you disappear, they feel the hunger for what they've lost. Seneca wrote, "The greatest wealth is a poverty of desires." By leaving, you show them the wisdom of this principle. You don't crave their approval, their gratitude, or their acknowledgement, but they, in turn, begin to crave the wisdom they no longer have access to. This hunger isn't something you need to satisfy. It's a consequence of their own blindness, their failure to see the value of what they had when they had it. Number 7. They feel the sting of their own dependence. Dependency is a quiet thief. It takes without asking, weakens without warning, and leaves people unable to stand on their own. When you disappear, you reveal to them just how dependent they were on you, emotionally, mentally, perhaps even physically. This sting is sharp and undeniable. They feel it in moments of struggle, when they realize they can no longer rely on your strength. Epictetus reminds us, difficulties show a person's character. Your absence becomes their test. Will they rise to the challenge and find their own strength, or will they crumble under the weight of their own dependence? Either way, their path is no longer intertwined with yours. Number 8. They feel the envy of true freedom. To walk away without anger, without fear, without regret, that is freedom. And freedom, as rare as it is, often inspires envy. Marcus Aurelius observed, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." When you leave, you demonstrate a wealth they may not possess, the wealth of self-control, of inner peace, of a life unshackled by the opinions of others. They envy this freedom, not because it is unattainable, but because it requires a discipline they have not yet cultivated. And that envy, though silent, speaks volumes. Number 9. They feel the awakening of respect. At first, they may resent you. They may question your motives, blame you for leaving, or dismiss your actions as selfish. But over time, something shifts. Resentment gives way to respect. Seneca wrote, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." Your departure becomes part of your story, a story of integrity, of strength, of unwavering commitment to your principles. Whether they admit it or not, they come to respect the courage it took to leave, the discipline it required to remain calm, and the wisdom it revealed in the aftermath. To disappear is not an act of vengeance. It is not about proving a point or teaching a lesson. It is about preserving what is sacred, your peace, your integrity, your freedom. They will feel many things in your absence: shock, ache, frustration, even gratitude. But what they feel is not your concern. Your concern is your path, your growth, your alignment with the principles that guide you. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. To disappear is not to abandon, it is to transcend. This is the quiet revolution, the unshakable resolve, the path of those who master themselves. Let us walk it together, with strength, with purpose, with grace. This is the way of the steadfast. This is the way of the strong.